Hi, I'm Wendy Laidlaw. I am here with the lovely Rachel, who was a participant on my Heal Endometriosis Naturally Foundation program. Welcome, Rachel.
Hi, Wendy.
How are you today?
Fabulous.
Good. Well, look, thank you so much for taking the time to come and speak to me today. The idea behind these interviews is to kind of give women who are considering the Heal Endometriosis Naturally Foundation programs as a way, as an alternative to the conventional drug surgery route. So thank you for taking the time to come and speak to me, to give people an opportunity to hear a bit more about your journey on this program. Now, perhaps you could sort of tell some women, as they're watching, kind of what were you like before the program? What were your physical symptoms, and what was going on for you before the program?
Well, I pretty much have been suffering with pain during my cycle and ovulating since I was 13. Put on multiple, NSAIDs from my physicians. And over the years, it just progressively got worse and worse and worse. And actually, like 10 years ago, my OBGYN wanted to, do a diagnostic laparoscopy because she suspected I had endometriosis. And I was so against having any type of surgery. But I got to the point where I was in bed for, 3-4 days, not being able to move, curled up in a ball, and said, okay, enough is enough. So I had the diagnostic lap, and I think that was in September of 14. And since that time, it seemed like, I don't know if it's scar tissue or what, but my pain kind of even got worse after that. And then I did one injection of Lupron. I did, birth control pills. And I just started, having exacerbation of all of my symptoms. It was, severe abdominal cramping, nausea. I've suffered from migraines for years. And, abdominal bloating, constipation, just all kinds of issues, even issues with frequent urine, I can't even say it. Frequent urine, yeah. So, I started doing my own research, like, okay, there's got to be another way. I don't want to have another surgery because I was told I could have a hysterectomy, and that was out of the question. Plus, I found out it was on my bladder. It was covered. So, even if I did have a hysterectomy, I knew it wasn't going to, get rid of all the lesions. So I started, reading a few books, and then I stumbled across yours. And yours was different from the other ones, is the fact that it was attainable. It was things that I could incorporate in my life and I could do, opposed to like other ones that were like all these, herbs that I had never heard of, and just all these crazy things that I just thought there's no way I could even do this in a day. And so I got picked for this pilot program, and it's been a journey.
Fantastic. I know. Well, it was great. I remember when you got the book, I remember you posting a photograph of yourself with the book, and it was great. And I think that was, again, one of the reasons why I asked you to join the pilot program, because I know you'd got the book and you'd started to try and implement some of the aspects to it. So what attracted you to wanting to join the pilot program?
Well, again, I didn't want to do surgery, and I knew that, taking pills just kind of masks symptoms. It doesn't really treat what's actually happening. And so after reading your book, I thought, well, I'm already kind of doing some of these things. I make my own lotion and laundry soap, and, trying to avoid chemicals at all possible. And, I thought I was eating healthy. And I thought, well, if it's meant to be, I'm going to apply for this program and see what happens. And you chose me, and I'm very thankful and grateful for that.
Well, it was my pleasure. You've been a great student on the program, so it's always a joy to work with people who are really committed like yourself. So for anyone watching, how would you describe the program? Because obviously it sounds the program's 12 weeks. I think most people think, oh, it's just a diet thing. So how would you describe the program to people?
It's like a whole mind, body, soul type of, incorporated all into one. And it's slow. It's like you start off, eliminating one thing 1 week, and then the next week you're eliminating something else, and the next week something else. And then in the meantime, you're incorporating, good things into your body, getting out the bad and taking in the good. And then also, you're working on your emotional health as well. It's just a whole body, mind transformation. And I'm not just have reduced my pain, but I've also grown emotionally, mentally. I mean, it's just it's a whole mind body experience, really. It's been great.
And what have you found the most surprising about the program?
Surprising. The emotional part of it, how that even stems into it, how stress plays on the body in so many different ways, not just physically, but, physically, what exercising or stress in your body, foods that you eat, anything that causes like inflammation. And there's so many different things. And I've just learned to really listen to my body. That's the key right there, is really be in tune with your body and really listen of what it's telling you to do, because our bodies want to heal themselves, as you've been preaching to us. It truly does. And if you listen to your body and how it feels after everything, whether it be something you put in your mouth, something you put on your skin, or interactions with somebody, if you learn to control all of those things, you can cure yourself and you can avoid things that aren't good for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's amazing, isn't it, getting that power back? I think that, that for a lot of women who've gone through the program, they found it quite surprising that with the information and knowledge that they've gained, suddenly they're back in charge, they're back in control of their body and their life. So what have you found has been the biggest challenge of the program, would you say?
Taking time for me. I've been struggling a lot over the years, school, work, raising a daughter by myself, and finding out who I am. I mean, that's still a journey that I'm working towards, but just taking the time to relax too. That's really truly been difficult for me, is to sit down and just learn how to relax. It's something that I still need to work on as well. I have a hard time with that.
But then the fact is, you have that awareness now, don't you? So I always think awareness is half the battle. If you have that awareness, then you can then do something about it.
Yeah, I mean, because essentially the only person who's really going to take good care of you is you. I mean, nobody else is going to do that for you.
Yeah. And that can be quite sad, I think, when we have that first realization of that. Because if we've grown up in families that, maybe didn't fulfill us in the ways that we'd wanted, we then perpetually then seek and look outward naturally to be supported and filled up or whatever, be looked after. And then when you realize, actually, we're the ones that have to do that, there's nobody else can do it, it can be quite hard to get your head around that, almost a sense of loss when that first comes up.
Yeah, most definitely.
So a part of this program, as you know, is doing one-on-one work with me. And how have you found that?
Insightful. You're very compassionate. You listen almost too much, where it almost forces you to, to say things. And very sensitive. Like I said, when I said compassionate, I mean, I don't even know how to say it. You're just there when you're needed, and you have to kind of say the right things at the right time, it seems like, and it just helps push us along, makes us a little bit more uncomfortable to get to where we need to get. Yeah,
that's right. I would refer to it as a gentle shove with love. Is that kind of like, I'm alongside you going, come on, we can do this, because I believe in you. And that's the thing, I've seen tremendous growth in you throughout this program.
Yeah, I have a lot more to go. I mean, I'm still having pain, but nowhere near the pain that I had. I mean, I almost had pain a couple times a week, and now it's reduced to where I only have it a few times a month. And even during my cycle, my pain is decreased. I still have severe pain, but it's nothing like it was. And I know it's only going to get better as I continue to do the things that I've been and do more that I know that needs to be done.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, that's the thing. I think you now have that understanding of your body. You have that understanding of what causes inflammation, and you're still implementing the day by day sort of habits, food habits, products, everything else all the other emotional aspects that you need to support yourself so that it's only, you now have that power now. So you now know when you do have a flare day or you do have pain, you know, how to help yourself. You move past that.
Yeah.
So obviously another part of the program is having sort of group support, you know, through the Facebook groups and things. How have you found that?
Oh, I absolutely loved connecting with the ladies. I think I found a lifelong friend out of it. It's kind of nice to hear what other people are going through, because I noticed some weeks, like I was having a bad week where somebody else wasn't. And then I was like, oh, okay, I was like that last week. So I know that we feed off of one another, and, you know, that support, just knowing that we're not going through this alone.
Yeah.
And, you know, I know just me opening up sometimes helps someone else opened up, and vice versa. And so, yeah, I really looked forward to that, honestly, every week. And if I had a crappy day, that ended up lighting up my day. I just got this big grin on my face, just ecstatic to even talk to everybody.
Oh, well, that's wonderful. Because I think that was what I was, when I was designing this program. I felt, again, feeling back into my journey, which felt really long, lonely and hard, was what I felt. People, you know, you bring people together in an environment where everyone's going through their own struggles at the same time. And then, as you rightfully say, when someone's having a bad week or a bad day and then the other person's having a good day, you know, it helps them feel that they're not alone and they were at that stage the week before or the day before. So everybody's cheerleading everyone else along and just not feeling isolated and alone.
Yeah, because, I mean, there's been several times where I just thought, you know, nobody could understand it. Honestly, I had no idea how many women actually have. I just had someone message me today who wanted me to tune in to Channel 4 because they were talking about linking with coffee and endometriosis. And she has it as well. I mean, it just amazes me how many women actually have it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the frustrating part is so many women have it, and it's forever on the increase. But the methods that are currently being used for it are so sledgehammer to an egg approach, very damaging, very invasive to the body, and cause countless other side effects. So women are being sold down a path of treatment which doesn't actually address the underlying causes, and that can cause so many other problems as well. So it was great when you applied for the program because you only just had the one operation, but I've heard of women having like 16, 18, 20 operations, and you just think that's crazy. And that's where you have to stop and go, there has to be another way. So obviously people nowadays, everybody wants everything better, faster, more. And this is not a quick fix program, as I keep repeating endlessly. I have my little repetitions on things that I say, and I always maintain the slow is fast. What would you say to women who are like, well, I want to join this program and I want to be fixed tomorrow?
Well, I mean, you're not going to get fixed in a day. And I don't care how many pills that you take or how many surgeries you have. I mean, if you're still in pain, obviously it's not working. I mean, even the pain pills that I was taking, I was still in pain and they weren't doing me any good. I don't take any medications at this time, nothing. I was on 3 or 4 and I take none. I would say that, you know, it's one day at a time. You truly need to, slow is fast, you know, Wendy's motto. You know, you just little bit by little bit, because if you do too much at one time, it's overwhelming and you're not even going to know which way to even turn and what's causing what. So I would say if you're ready to really be pain-free and to really focus in on you and only you, then this would be the program. And just know that each week you'll have a little bit of success, and you're even going to have setbacks, but that's okay because you're going to learn from that and you're only going to move forward. And you will be smiling like me with less pain.
Absolutely, absolutely, which is fantastic. Now, obviously, again, there's going to be a financial element. They're going to have to financially invest in themselves, which is probably difficult, you know, for a lot of women to do, especially with endometriosis, because by the time they kind of think about healing themselves in another way, the idea of spending money, you know, they might be in a bad condition or be financially kind of not in a strong position. So what would you say to those women who, you know, are worried about the financial aspect of investing into this program, investing into themselves?
Well, what I would say is this. I just had this conversation with my daughter prior to coming on here with you. Financially, if you can't afford it, you need to think about how much money you're spending on prescription pain medications, doctor visits, and add that up. Because, I mean, everyone has co-pays for prescriptions, you know, doctor visits cost money, and you're not going to have that expense. I mean, I'm not taking anything, and I have a flex spending at work that I'm not even using now because I don't need it, and I don't plan on using it. So I would say you are your own best investment, and if it's even worth a little bit of decrease in pain, I know for myself, I would go for it, and I did, and I am not pain-free, but my pain is a lot lessened, and I know over time I am going to get myself pain-free.
Yeah. Well, that's great to hear from you, because I think even just hearing how you talk now, you have so much more confidence in yourself and in your ability to your body to tune into it, that you know that you are the master of your ship now. You know, you know, the master of destiny, captain of your ship. You know now what you need to do. And I can see it in your aura. I can hear it in your voice. You know what to do now when these things come up. And I think this can be a little frustrating part of the program, is things, as you said earlier, things can be going really well and suddenly life gets in the way, or there's a couple of flare days, or there's a slip back. So what would you say to those women when they have those days?
Well, I mean, I'm keeping track of it. I mean, that's one thing, is the journaling, and you can always look back on your good days and go, okay, I've had, good days, and kind of focus on those and not necessarily on all the bad days. Because, I mean, we all have bad days. We all have stressors. We all have, life events that happen. But I would say just focus on, back the days that you had, that you were doing very well. Yeah. And that can help push you forward, because that's what's helped me.
Yeah, absolutely. And what would you say about the journaling? Because again, the journaling can seem a bit of an odd part of the program. What have you learned from doing the journaling?
Yeah, I met a lot of resistance doing that. I didn't want to do it at all, actually. And then I was doing it the wrong time of day. You said mornings was like key. But I found a lot of breakthroughs and things that I wasn't dealing with when I was doing it first thing in the morning. Just through my dreams, or, my mind's being fresh and being sleeping all night. I don't know, that just kind of helped anything that was buried come out. And so it was been beneficial, very much so. Yeah,
I think that the journaling can be quite a wonderful way of hearing aspects of yourself that sometimes we can be dormant within us, because we keep ourselves so busy, we just don't want to pay attention to things. We don't even know where to begin to pay attention. And that's where the journaling and getting it out of you onto paper can be fantastic. So what would you say, to sum up the program, what would you say to anyone who is watching this now and teaching on the edge? What would be your final words about the program to them?
I would just say that, if you're fed up and, you're tired of being in pain, know that you're not alone, and that, only you know your body, and you know how everything affects it. And so Wendy just teaches you how to pay attention to all of that, and gives you resources of things to bring forth into your life, whether it be foods or products or whatever. I would just say that you are the one who can take care of you, and you know your body, and so you can make changes and decrease your pain if you truly want it. And slow is fast.
Absolutely. Well, Lou, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me tonight, because I know this video will be very inspirational to women who are sat at home in bed feeling lonely and isolated and think, there has to be another way. So thank you very much. I know that you have seen great growth within yourself, and you know that there's still things up ahead, up the path that still got to work on, but the growth that you have had has been amazing. You've been an excellent student, so thank you so much indeed for being part of this program, and thank you very much for taking the time to speak to me.
You're welcome. Thank you, Wendy.